Let's freaking go. We got a very special Tuesday night guest for you, none other than Slade Roy. We'll get to him in just a second. Obviously, we have a lot of different topics we're also going to get to a little bit later. So we don't have much time with Slade. Obviously, if you want to get a question in to the man that made the momentum shifting play, a man who helped win LSU their first SEC game under Brian Kelly, feel free to get your questions in. Now, really quickly, obviously, the big story of the night is the 2023 LSU schedule. It is there. Obviously, the big change here is the Arkansas game goes from November now to September, and we're going to talk about the switch from Florida going a little bit later in the season and the SEC back-to-back road games. We're going to talk about all of that, but now let's get some energy going. Let's go. I'm so happy that he's back, and bang! Look at that! Look at that shirt, baby! I love it, Slade. Good evening, man. How's life going?
What's up? Good evening. How you doing? It's a beautiful day.
Yeah, man. So, people got to learn about you. I felt really happy on Saturday night because people got to learn about you on our show. We gave you your first interview, and now look at you. You get the big tackle versus Florida State to where your dad, I see Jim Roy DMing me, and I was like, is there just some guy out there that just loves Deepsnapper content? I was like, oh, it's that Roy. Oh, it must be his dad. And then I see your mom. Shout out to Trish, who's a supporter of our channel. And I was really excited to see you make that tackle, but obviously the big play this past weekend. First off, Slade, walk us through the play.
So really, I feel like it's getting. I don't remember what quarter it was. Maybe it was the third quarter. It could have been the fourth quarter. It was the third quarter, I think.
Yeah, late third.
And so it was getting kind of late in the game, and the sun was down. And so that's when you start to really get like locked into the game, it's an attitude contest. Whichever team wants it the most really is going to show it in the second half. And we get out onto the field, and I'm running down there, and Jay, our punter, hits an incredible punt, like 4-7 hang time maybe. That thing was in the air for forever. And I get down there, and I'm standing in front of the returner for a second. It was like the ball's in the air for forever. So I'm standing there. I'm like waiting. I'm like, what is this dude doing? And he starts coming towards me, and I'm like, oh, shoot. I got to move out of the way. So I jump out of the way, and it kind of startled him, I think, because when he tries to catch it, he's really not in the right position to catch it. And bounce off his hands, and I see it sitting there on the ground. Like there's no way in the world this ball is sitting there right now. So I just dive on it as quick as I can, and then pure emotion took over after that. It was absolutely incredible.
And there it is right there, folks. So here you are. He's obviously getting ready to catch it, and you get right here, and next thing you know, that's it.
Yeah, perfect timing, great punt. God just put me in the right spot to make the right opportunity. It was amazing.
I love it. When the ball hits the ground, you told me before, you don't remember the play.
No, I don't. I honestly don't remember it. I feel like most of the times I'm on the field, I let my instincts take over. And I'll when I see a video, I'll kind of remember it through the video, but I don't remember it. I don't remember it live. It's hard. It's really hard to recollect because you have so much adrenaline going through you when you're on the field, and you're really just doing it based on instinct. So it's crazy. It's crazy to say, but I really don't remember it.
One of your biggest fans here, LA Mom 2020. She's really excited you're back on. Yeah, the matching shirts, twinsies. Let's do it. Chris listens to every interview that we do, and he has told me multiple times that you've been the best guest. So I hope Van and Jeremy aren't listening to this right now, but you killed it. I hope Jack Beshan watching, and Jack killed it as well. We've never had a bad guest. You told us a Steph Curry story. You told us a story of how you ended up here. And what's really interesting about the play is it changed everything, right? When you got to the sideline, did you feel something different? Did you feel the momentum shift?
Yeah, it was it's not that we had bad energy before. I think we all had good energy, but I feel like after that, and I'm not saying it was me that caused it, but I feel like that play individually, I feel like gave everyone maybe like a little spark that they needed.
Right.
And I feel like for the rest of the game, everyone was like so much more engaged than we were in the beginning of the game, because we were like, yeah, we got this now. Because then we went and scored, punched it in, and we're like, yeah, we're gonna go and crush these guys. We're not gonna let them do anything else. And the energy was insane. One of the guys I thought gave insane energy was Ollie Gay. He came to me on the sideline and was just super pumped. And then for the rest of the game, I could just see him just giving that good energy to everyone else on the team, and he really lifted us up. And it was incredible to see the defense and offense play like that in the second half.
I'm just happy you get this moment, right? And deep snappers don't get it that often, and you got it, and you deserve it. I felt like I got to know you. I'm getting to know, obviously, you, everybody in PHL Nation's getting to know a little bit more about you. And walk us through, okay, what's interesting is Joe Tessitore, who is the play-by-play announcer, said that the ball was a little bit of a knuckleball. Does Jay Bramblett punt it different to make it tougher for the returner to catch?
Well, so that was a pin punt. So the difference with that is we were on a shorter field. I think maybe he had like 55 yards to the goal line.
Yeah.
So he, instead of turning it over like he normally does, he punted it end over end, because what that really does is it makes it come down quicker. And if it does hit the ground, it puts backspin on to hit it back into the field so it doesn't go into the end zone. Yeah. So he hit one of those, and those are much tougher to field, and it has a completely different rotation and angle of like deceleration down on it for the returner. So it's a lot harder to catch. I think with that and the fact that it's kind of in his way and moved out of the way at the last second caused him to mess up there.
Yeah, and what's interesting is Bramblett gets credit, but honestly, my favorite thing about that play is that I feel like this is going to give your special teams units a lot of confidence going forward as well, because you guys made the game-changing play. Does it feel like, because look, it's different for special teams, and I want everyone to understand this, because you as specialists hang out for the most part together during practice. Am I correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
And everybody that's on offense and defense, it's a mixture, right, on these special teams units. I feel like this is a play that can bring the special teams units together and let you guys know that you guys can make a big play that can change the course of the game.
I absolutely agree. I think it not only reflects on our group, on the whole team. I feel like our hustle on special teams has been really good in the first couple of weeks. And I think plays like that is what continues to get guys hustling down the field, and really, because special teams is what wins you games. I'm not saying my job is what wins us games, but stopping someone from returning the ball on a punt, or returning the punt, or field position that's first down every 10 yards that you do that, really is something that you like offense, defense, but special teams is what wins the games for the most part. And it's really, we have a strong focus on special teams. And I really like that. And everyone on our team is locked in on it. And I love the energy we give through that.
There we go. Here's Greg. He's a big fan of yours as well. Let's go. The game changer, baby. It's one of our top PHLers, Danny Girl. She is actually somebody who studies snapping. Like, she loves watching the center, and she actually does like watching the deep snapper. I'm not making that up. She's she loves the little intricacies of football, such as this. So what I wanted to get to now is, here you are, right? I think people really should go back and listen to your first conversation, the semi-miracle that it took for you to even get here, how it took you betting on yourself to get to this spot to play for this university, one of the top college football brands out there. When you when you run through the tunnel for the first time versus Southern, walk us through what's going through your mind.
So we were sitting there in the tunnel, and we actually walked out kind of early. We did our prayer as a team, then Coach Kelly walked us out. And so I'm pretty close to the front, maybe right behind Ollie or someone like that at the front of the line. I'm behind the team captains. And we're sitting there, and the clock is saying 6 or 7 minutes, and we're not supposed to run until 4. And I'm sitting there oh, let's go. And you're just sitting there for 3 minutes, and you really just want to run. And then they finally turn the lights on and everyone gets super hyped. And you run out and you can hear the fans through the cement and through the doors. And you're like, I cannot wait to run out there. And then when you run out the tunnel, it's absolutely, you're like consumed by the energy and the noise and the fans. And it's really one of the greatest views you can see just running down that tunnel. It's so amazing.
And for you, Brian Kelly, of course, here's a guy that's accomplished everything outside of winning a national championship. What were his first couple of pregame speeches like for you?
I feel like his pregame speeches to us are like he's giving us the plan. And so there's like a couple of key words to focus on, like trust. So we need to trust in ourselves, trust when we've been taught, play hard, play fast. You don't really want to be thinking out there. You want to be free. And so I think those traits he's like taught us, he preaches them to us pregame, and then he's like, let it loose. He said, you're the best. You're the best. Just go out there and prove it.
I love that. And this is what's really interesting to me, Slade. You go through this fall camp where there was a lot of uncertainty of who the quarterback is going to be. And Jaden, of course, goes out there and fights like you know what to go out there and win. Now, I will say this as someone that's been on the field, on the sideline for an SEC game. It's car collisions. All of this is happening really fast. And I know most people consume football from the stands or on TV. Everything's moving really, really quick. Does the speed of your first SEC game, did it change? Did you feel anything different? Did you feel, that many more fans of what you had at ECU? Do you feel things speeding up?
I absolutely think it's sped up. First of all, like the adrenaline is almost 2 times as much. Really, the noise and the scenery changes your feeling. You really want to be your best, like no matter what. And the people obviously on the field are bigger, faster, stronger. So that's also a change of speed right there. And so I really think that's better though, and it helps you to get better, because at the end of the day, you want to be the best you that you can be. So I think that allows you to really excel on the field.
I like this from Andrew. You made me wake up my newborn. I'm not even mad at you. I'm telling you, I will say this. A lot of the people that watch my channel and they watch all the interviews that we do, I do get that message a lot that you really brought it. A lot of people love the Steph Curry story. That was really funny. Let's go to Danny Girl. Once again, she's a big fan of yours. Did you call your dad immediately to thank him for forcing you to snap that ball 15 minutes every day when you really didn't want to do this at all?
I've thanked him more times than I should thank anyone for anything, but obviously I'm in college for free, so I can't thank him enough. But it really is a blessing that he forced me to do that, because I did not want to do snapping at all, but it was really something that he made me do, and then I really started to enjoy it. And now it's kind of like most of who I am, and it kind of defines me now, and it's a big part of my life.
Yeah, man. And you see, people learn a lot about you on these conversations. They feel like they're getting to know more about you. Now, we'll get back to you in just a second. I want to talk a little bit about Jaden, okay? Because I brought up the car collision stuff, and he takes a lot of shots. He runs and he doesn't slide. At the end of the game, he needed to pick up, the first down yardage, and he took a blow. And here is this guy who comes to the sideline. And when he came to the sideline, did you see that gash on his head?
I did.
What goes through your mind when you see something like that?
I think that really makes the whole team feeds off his energy. He's not the loudest dude, but he's someone who leads by actions. And I think him getting out there and being that gritty really gets the whole team going. Every time they come off the field, I'll go over there and tell him good job, or you got this, bro, keep on going. He's a really good dude, and I think his effort and energy is seen by the whole team, and that we really feed off of it.
That moment changed me, because the quarterback's different, right? Here's a guy that wears a red jersey every day of practice. You can't hit him, right? And obviously you don't play defense, but as a former defensive player, I hated that. Here's a guy, he can't get hit, and he's bleeding. I mean, it's a UFC cut, honestly, on the side of his head. And for you, I mean, obviously, you don't spend much time with Jaden, and here it is right here. Obviously, it's in the most like high def photo in the world, but you could see how that could affect someone. Obviously, he was also wearing a headband and the helmet and all of that. Walk us through what he's like. I mean, you mentioned he was quiet, but here's a guy that's gritted out, 2 wins for you guys. Almost brought you back for a third. You mentioned he's quiet, but do you feel like the team is starting to galvanize behind him?
I really do. And every time you have a conversation with him, he's nothing but nice things to say. And he's just a really good dude in general. I feel like the whole team is starting to see that. Some people didn't see it right away. Some people had negative thoughts, I feel like, but I feel like everyone on the team really accepts him and sees how good of a dude he is. And I really appreciate what he does tremendously.
Yeah. And I think you kind of relate to him in a way, because here's someone that had no idea a year later that he would be in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, right? He's a Cali guy. You're East Coast guy. So yeah, that must have been a transition for both of you guys.
Yeah, I think so. He transitioned. I don't know how much later he came in me, maybe a month or two after me, but I remember he was there for spring ball, I'm pretty sure. So it couldn't have been too late after me. Do you know when he transferred in?
He transferred a little bit late. I think a little bit after you did. So
yeah, I think it was in March, maybe.
Yeah. Let's go to Jordan here. He said, "Appreciate what you do out there, Slade." There you go, man. Showing some love to Mr. Slade Roy. Simper wants to know, and Simper is from Lafayette, where Walker Howard played. How has he looked?
Walker Howard is a good friend of mine. Really good dude. And as a true freshman, it's really hard to get out there and really understand the whole game, because the speed is from high school to college is completely different. And for me, it's different, but for them, it's drastically different. It's a completely different game almost. And so I think he's taking it well. He's really taking the coaching. He's getting solid reps in practice. And I can see it out there whenever I see him making throws. He's getting better every single day. He's a really good dude.
Y'all are good friends. That's interesting.
Actually, when I first got here, so him and Will Campbell are roommates. And so Will was really my first friend when I got here. So I'd hang out with him, and then hanging out with him, I became friends with Walker. And just ever since then, I've talked to him a lot. He's a really nice dude, and everyone on the team likes him.
Will Campbell.
Yeah, Will it's insane to see what he's accomplished.
Yeah.
Just 3 weeks into the season, meeting him from his first time stepping onto a college campus for good to now seeing where he's at. He was next to me on field goal, and so that was really neat, because I think he's in the tackle now, but he was in the guard spot for maybe week 2.
Okay.
And so I would always get down during practice during the game, look at him, tell him good job, or give him a smile, because it's so cool to be sitting there next to one of your best friends here and on the field having fun like that.
That's just nuts to me, that a true freshman. Well, you're year 2 and he's year 1, so I guess that's not that drastic, but that's interesting. It seems like he's got some rare leadership traits.
Dude. I mean, I can't really describe it or do it justice as he deserves it, but he's really came into the locker room and been a huge leader. I feel like even people that are 4th or 5th years look up to him as a leader, because he really is such an amazing guy, and he really is a great leader for our team.
I don't know him at all. I really don't. I know a few people that know him well, but that makes me smile, right? I shared a few photos of 2 true freshmen starting at tackles. That's crazy. That's just amazing. You don't see that. For those that don't know. That's pretty rare, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I haven't seen it before. Obviously, I've only been playing football for 2 years, but
Yeah.
it's definitely something special.
And for you to see the defense to perform, because obviously, you got to get down there and tackle from time to time. See the defense perform like that, Slade. I mean, they were knocking heads off, man. Chalk outlining people out there.
The defense was really flying around the ball, and that's how they are every single day. Like in practice, you see it, and you know Saturday comes, they're going to be flying around. Jay Ward had an incredible game. He's another one of the good friends of mine. And I was really happy for him, seeing him fly around the ball every single time. I'd see him make a tackle. I'd be super, super excited from on the sideline. It's great to see like these people who you grow close to during the offseason out there making huge plays, and you just really truly be excited for them.
All right, so Jay Ward's a good friend of yours. Will Campbell, Walker Howard, gotten to know a little bit more about those guys. Who are some other guys that you have enjoyed being around?
Some other people that really took me in from the beginning, I think BJ, Jure, Desmond Little, those guys, Jarek, really, those guys are really were really nice to me when I didn't know too many people on the team. I feel like they're like people who I talk to a lot in football and outside of football, and they're all playmakers on the field as well. So it's really neat.
Few more for you. We want to get you all studied up, rested up for the next big game. This is getting interesting. We're a 2-1 football team. We're cheering for you, Slade. Somebody's getting ready to go buy your jersey here in a second. Chris, he loves you, man. Next month's going to get crazy, man. You guys got some momentum. You've won 2 in a row. You were a point away from, overtime. Walk us through what practice has been like and how the team feels as we move forward here.
I feel like we practice every single week the same. So this week we're going to practice the same as we would practice if we were playing Alabama, because it's really about us. It's not about what anyone else can do, because if we play at our best, we can beat anyone. So I think during practice we're really focused on us, and that's kind of a motto that we go through. And everyone's locked in preparing as the best we can. So that's what I really love about this team.
That's good, man. And for Coach Brian Kelly, I'm sure when, obviously the game ball went to him for the Southern win, right? And then the game ball goes to Jaden and Matt House. That's great. How do you feel about this man that's given you this opportunity to play football for LSU? You've now won 2 in a row, his first 2 home games. I'm sure the team will galvanize. It'd be different if you weren't able to pull it off versus Mississippi State, but you get this W. Everything is still on the table for you guys. I'm sure after this win, it just gives you more confidence moving forward.
Personally, I really look highly of Brian Kelly. He's really good. He's a really good person and really smart dude. You know when he's out there telling you, giving you tips. Like I see him coaching up people. He knows what he's talking about, and he's not one of those people who are out there just telling you stuff to make it seem like he knows what he's talking about. He actually does know what he's talking about, and he's really involved in the practices and the special teams especially. And I really do respect him and what he does, and he's a really great guy.
Let's go, Slade. We really appreciate you, man. We'll get you on here obviously later in the season, check in on you. I was actually going to wait until like the bye week to give you a chance to rest up, but we had to get you on, man. I want to. I got to show it again, man. This is just truly incredible that you get this moment. So you did reveal earlier in the interview and to me beforehand that you did not spook him. You were just trying to get out of the way. It's just so nuts to me. I thought for a second that you were intentionally trying to scare him.
No, but I was looking back on it. I was like, it kind of looks like I'm yelling at him. I was thinking maybe I could start doing that. Maybe I could start doing that in the future. That might be a good idea. Maybe like Google his mom's name and start saying his parents' name when I'm running down there.
I love it, man. That is. Oh man, you are one of the most interesting people I've ever interviewed. I've gotten to interview some cool people. I'm really glad to call you a big time member of the PHL Nation. Look at you rocking the shirt, man.
Let's go.
Yeah, man. That's good, man. One day you and I will get together, get to meet each other, and we really appreciate you, Slade. We really, really do. When your career is over, the only thing I ask, I want one game worn item. I want a game worn jersey. I want a game worn something, man, to go along with my Jeremy Hill game worn jersey. I get stuff sent all the time, but I love it when it's like people that I've interviewed and known and stuff like that. But yeah, man, shout out to Trish and shout out to Jim. We got to shout out Trish and Jim. Wait, are they? Do they get to come in for games? Have they gotten to see you play?
They went to the first 2 games. They were at the Florida State game and the Southern game, and then they're planning on coming to the Mississippi State game, but they weren't feeling too well. So I told them stay home, even though they still wanted to come. I'm sure they wish they were there because of how big the play was, but I think their health is more important than that.
So now they can't come to any games.
They can't. Yeah, no, because now I'm 100%. I'm recovering fumbles when they're not there.
I love it, man. They were with you in spirit, and everybody in PHL Nation will be with you in spirit, Slade. We really appreciate you, and why not come on later this year? Is that cool with you?
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Let's go, Slade.
Let's go.
Let's go. We'll talk to you soon, my brother. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure as always.
All right, bud. Is he not the best? I love it. Best thing to do is to obviously go follow Slade on Twitter. I hope he's hit the 1,000 mark. See it? Okay, he's hit the 1,000 mark. Great. Followed him from the Power Hour LSU account. And here we go. Didn't keep him on as long this time. And all number 44s are cool. That's good, man. So, yeah, go ahead and give him a follow. Slade Roy _. It's pretty simple. And he is absolutely phenomenal. Okay? There you go. Slade Roy. It's good stuff. It is a good interview. So once again, had a discussion in the Discord about this a few weeks ago. We're batting 1,000 on interviews. Objectively speaking, we have never had a bad interview. Never, not once. Knock on wood. Okay? Knock on wood. That can always change. But we are lucky to have never had a bad conversation with anybody. And that's obviously really, really, really good. But yeah, go follow him at Slade Roy. That shows him some love. That obviously, boosts his social media numbers and potential name, image, and likeness opportunities. And there you go. He's definitely my favorite player on the team. But yeah, I like having current players on the team. If you are a current player watching this, any current player for LSU always has an open invite to talk about anything, right? Obviously, our first interview with Slade was a little bit more personal about his backstory, how he actually got to LSU. So we will, if you want to go check it out, you can find it. Just search Slade Roy, Power Hour LSU, and you can find it. Okay? Yeah, that's right, Skipper. And you learned a lot as well, right? What I like to do, all right, you can always learn the most about somebody through somebody else who's not the center of attention, right? So I interviewed Slade Roy just now, and, I was going to ask about Jaden, and Jaden obviously, just speaking to people I know that's around that program all the time, I hear all the time about Jaden's leadership. I hear all the time that Jaden is a quiet guy. So we knew that. But what I like to hear are the guys that aren't a part of the interview, right? Someone asked about Walker Howard. But the fact that Slade Roy brought up, the people that you would expect to be leaders, Will Campbell, brought up Will Campbell unsolicited, brought up Ali Gay, right? Brought up Jay Ward, brought up Jeray Jenkins. That shows me a lot. Shows me a lot. This is a deep snapper, right? Who works with specialists, who isn't around those people, the other players on the team, as much as, other people would be. So the truth is, well, the people that he mentioned should be players that you like more. And that showed me a lot. That tells me a lot. And when I do film studies, I pick up on those little mental cues. I pick up on those little things, right? Here's a good example of this. All right. Mekhi Gardner was a guy that I thought would be LSU's best corner this year. Him and Jarek Bernard-Converse are playing really well. And I'm wondering where Sevyn Banks is going to fit into all of this. I wonder where Joe Fouché is going to fit into all of this, right? It's obviously a good thing to have those guys. But when Mekhi Gardner made a play in the fourth quarter, I love seeing Demarius McGee support Mekhi Gardner. Even though McGee doesn't play, hardly ever. The fact that that guy who's sitting on the bench the entire game celebrates other people when it's not about him showed me a lot about him, right? Those little things mean a lot to me, right? Because you need those kinds of guys on your team to be successful. Now, let's talk about the 2023 schedule. And obviously, we'll let Danny get the last word here. It shows me a lot that these other players not on special teams have invested in him as a person that demonstrates leadership in the locker room and cohesion of a team. It also helps when you win. Totally agree with that, Danny. You're right on the money about that. And it's kind of one of those things. If you ever look at a player's highlight tape, look at everybody else on the highlight tape and see if anyone else stands out. Whenever you listen to an interview with somebody else, if that person brings up someone else unsolicited, that tells me something about that player. When you stand out, when you're not supposed to stand out, tells me a lot about who you are, right? So remember those names: Jeray, Ali Gay, Jarek Bernard-Converse, Will Campbell. All right, those are players he wasn't asked about that he just brought up. And of course, I asked him who are some other players that stood out. So I did ask him, but still, he could have listed anybody, and he said those names. Right? So let's talk about the 2023 schedule really quickly. This is a big deal, okay? Now, this is not to disrespect what we as a team are doing this year, okay? We very well could go on a run here. A lot of things would need to go our way. A lot of things would need to improve. A lot of balls will have to bounce our way. Sometimes in these close SEC games, you just gotta get lucky. Okay. But next year, hopefully we won't be in a lot of those situations, because next year we're going to be an even better team with a lot of key young pieces that will be returning next year. It is early to talk about next year, and I hate talking about the next year when there is a current year. But there are two things to understand. The first is that it is tonight the SEC schedule release. The second thing that's very important here is we are going to be a better team next year. And the schedule does set up a lot better for us next year. Okay? Now, let's clear something up that has caused a frenzy. And if one thing that kind of distracted me during the Slade Roy interview is that I got 2 texts from one from a family member I hardly speak to, and someone else saying, "Why are we playing Georgia in week 2?" That is not Georgia. That is Grambling. Okay. I'm kind of shocked that so many people have been fooled by this, because the LSU graphic, this is a graphic from LSU, and this was like the first graphic that kind of made its rounds. Okay. We are not playing Georgia week 2. Let me repeat. We are not playing Georgia week 2. That is Grambling. Remember, you only play 8 SEC games every year, and this will be the last year where LSU will only have these 8 teams. It might remain an 8-game schedule after this year, but this is the last year that the SEC is going to be in this formation. 2024 will be the first year that Oklahoma and Texas will be in, and the schedule will likely go through a drastic shift. So Chris and I have talked about this, as have everybody in the Discord. Don't forget, go to patreon.com/LSU football, and you can join our Discord, where you get plenty of one-on-one conversations with not only me, but you get to talk with a bunch of LSU fans such as me. Okay? Type Y for yes, type N for no. This schedule is easier than last year, or I should say this year's schedule. 2023's schedule is better than 2022 schedule. Okay? Type Y for yes, type N for no. It's favorable. It's more favorable. Type Y for yes, type N for no. I never checked on the poll question here. How many successful deep snaps to the punter could you complete out of 3 tries? 0. While I switch up the poll question, I'm going to throw in a quick break. Give me a little break here. It is PHL. Walter says yes. Michael says yes. Steven says yes. I missed the Thanksgiving Arkansas game as well. Andrew says yes. What's up, Hunter? Big Al, what's up? Linda, what's good? Lots of things moved around in the schedule. Okay. So the Mississippi State game remained the same. The Arkansas and the Florida game essentially swapped here. So normally we play Arkansas the week after Alabama. And normally Auburn is in that 4 or 5 slot, and Florida is around the Auburn time. But things were moved around. And obviously the most drastic one is the Arkansas-Florida switch here. Everything else is normally about the same. Also in November, you do get a cupcake mixed in there. Sometimes there's a cupcake for LSU. Sometimes there isn't. There isn't a rent-to-win on the 2022 LSU schedule for LSU. Obviously, their final 4 games are all Power 5. Well, I'll take that back. There's UAB mixed in there. Still, the Arkansas-Florida switch is the biggest switch here. Okay? So, very interesting stuff. Okay? Now, Here are a few things that I really like about this schedule. Okay. The first thing here that really stands out to me is LSU does seem like they're going to be a better team, right? And your roster is the most important thing to win a national championship. So the schedule isn't as important as your roster. That's the first thing. The second thing here that's very important as well is that LSU, of course, does play back-to-back road games. Now, you've heard me say this 1,000 times over this past week, because a big reason why I picked LSU to beat Mississippi State is because of the back-to-back road game thing. Okay. Still, Ole Miss, Missouri back-to-back. At least you get a bad Missouri team on the back end of back-to-back road games. Okay. It's a really difficult thing to win both of them. It's a lot to go back-to-back on the road. You rarely do it in football. That's obviously going to be challenging, but at least Missouri is on the back end of that instead of the front end of that. The biggest thing that I feel that's very important about this schedule is you do play 3 top 15 recruiters in the month of November, and Alabama and Florida in back-to-back weeks could be very challenging, right? But that's where LSU has it. So for me, this schedule does set up for a run. You do get a lot of breaks. You do get Missouri as one of your non-permanent cross-division rival teams. Okay, the only non-permanent cross-division rival team. Missouri is the only school outside of Vanderbilt you would want more than any other SEC East school on your schedule. Now, of course, you'd rather them come to Baton Rouge and go, but that is a weaker team that you would have to play on the road. So it's not really that bad. Auburn's obviously going to be breaking in a new coach. They're going to be bad. Ole Miss, Emil is sharing in the chat that he sees Lane Kiffin going. Florida State's going to lose their quarterback. I think Jordan Travis is going to go to the NFL. Mississippi State, does Will Rogers come back? I think he does. And then Arkansas, KJ Jefferson, a big decision for him. I do think he goes to the NFL. I do. Anthony Richardson's going to go to the NFL. Bryce Young's going to go to the NFL. What is Texas A&M going to look like next year? There is a lot of quarterback transition on the schedule. Now, will LSU themselves be transitioning quarterbacks? Obviously, that is the big thing in the chat right now. A lot of you don't believe in Jaden Daniels. A lot of you just don't. Music still believes Nuss should be the guy, which, is still kind of nuts to me now. Maybe Nuss is the starter going into next year. But, for me, I think there is a higher likelihood that Jaden is your starter next year than you would like to think. I really do think so. And I think, honestly, Brian Kelly would welcome that. I do. So, I'm not worried about who the quarterback's going to be next year. I'm more worried about the schedule, and the schedule does set up really nicely for LSU. So I'm glad you guys got to consume it. Now we get to check in on the Newell poll question. 58% of you believe LSU is a lock to go at least 10-2 in 2023. Now, the truth here is you do need one thing to go in your favor, and that's injury luck, okay? You need injury luck. And honestly, we'll see. We'll see if injury luck goes LSU's way. Obviously, this year, it's not gone LSU's way, losing one of your best players on a celebration. But that goes to show you, how much luck you got to have to actually make a run to the national championship game. So we shall see what happens. Now, once again, feel free to get those super chats in. We got a few in during Slade Roy. Whichever topic you want to talk about tonight, we already talked about the big story outside of our guests. We do have to of course, talk about whatever. Okay. So we shall see what happens. Now, also, feel free to join the PHL T-shirt club. Now, if there was ever a reason to join the PHL T-shirt club, it's what you just saw a minute ago. Elite athletes. And by elite, I mean the elitist of elites. Slade Roy rocks his PHL shirt. Okay. You need to get yours tonight. Okay. I actually am getting another shipment in the next week. Right. So go on. I think I have all sizes still available outside of large, but we're getting, if you order one tonight, it'll come in. And also, all PHL shirts, while supplies last, will come with a Jaden Daniels, Derek Stingley, and Kayshon Boutte card. Every single one. Okay? So, if you want to join the PHL T-shirt club tonight and support me, guess what? You get all those goodies. Let's go. Okay? Zipper says that Walker finishes out the year as our starter. That is a very low likelihood. And honestly, that's not what you want at all. Now, Dalton, I plan on voting for Jay Ward to win the Heisman. It's his first year voting. Congrats. Danny Girl says, are you saying Jaden stays another year? Listen, I'm not ready to go through another intense QB battle with the fan base. Well, honestly, at this point, I'd want Jaden to stay another year. I don't know why you wouldn't. I mean, I don't think people quite understand how big of a miracle him coming to LSU even was, right? Not often do you get a 3-year starter from the transfer portal who wasn't bad as a 3-year starter. Now, he wasn't like Johnny Manziel. He wasn't like a Heisman level player. But, yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't want him back. Obviously, you heard Slade a minute ago. They freaking love Jaden in there. And, yeah, he's absolutely somebody I'd want to have back. Now, there is some things I do learn about Jaden. I am very fortunate to get to know, especially someone really close to Jaden, how tough of a son of a gun this guy is. And something else I like about Jaden is he's reliable, right? This is a guy that just he took some shots and 10 toes down. He survived. And he found a way to get it done. Now, there's a lot that will be fixed, hopefully. But there's also some things about Jaden that might not ever get fixed. Sometimes a quarterback is who he is. And with Jaden, you can win a lot with the way that he is now. So, yeah, I'm really excited about, that opportunity. But obviously right now, part of the evaluation, Danny, for Brian Kelly, if he feels he can actually make a championship run next year with Jaden Daniels, is if Jaden performs better as a passer, which I think eventually he is going to have to. I will share this information from, and if you've been in the Discord, you know this. So I reached out to an analytics account named CFB Numbers, and he released numbers of NFL draftable quarterbacks. So I then asked him to do those quarterbacks, but include Jaden Daniels' numbers with the rest of the quarterbacks. And what's very interesting is that Jaden Daniels was better than a lot of these guys in a lot of different categories in very critical areas. Now, I know it doesn't look the best sometimes. It looks very clunky sometimes with Jaden because he does miss open throws from time to time. But what I'll do is I started cutting it today. I just didn't have enough time, and I kind of wanted Slade Roy to be the center focus of attention tonight. But I did start cutting a Jaden Daniels secondary film study because now that I have some extra analytics and numbers, such as big time throw percentage, such as turnover worthy percentage, all those different things, it shows me that Jaden, honestly, what he's doing now is semi-effective, right? Even if he misses open throws, he's still able to make plays with his legs, which honestly is kind of rare. So yeah, it is very, very interesting. Yeah, I'm waiting to hear back. So, so I wore the hat and I've gotten a lot of messages. Hey, where do I get a hat? So I am getting a estimate from the PHL viewer that made the hat. I won't say who it is because I don't want everyone to go, flood his mentions. Hey, start printing these dang things. Even more than the shirts, everybody's wanting a hat, and I like hats. I wear hats. One of my favorite things about the hat is the aesthetic of it. Because Danny used to kill me for wearing my Liverpool hats, so now I got the purple hat to match, the aesthetic of the channel. So, yeah. But what's really interesting, so I'm working on getting an estimate as well. Jacob's got 3 shirts. Let's go to Michael B's super chat here. I challenge all the Jaden. Oh, I did. My heart sank. I know you would never say that, Michael. I know you pretty well. I was like, whoa. You're saying the negative Tigers at the end of the year to compare this year's red zone percentage to the last 2 years with having the ability to scramble. I see that going way up over the last few years. Wasn't good. So, yeah, what's interesting is Jaden has had some really rough red zone reps. He's also had some really great red zone reps. So you go back, and I'm glad you brought this up, Michael B. The throw to Jeray Jenkins was nothing short of incredible versus Florida State, right? He worked 1 read, 2 read, 3 read, right? That's what you want to see more of. Now, part of that was it was a do or die play. It was 4th and 2, and he kind of had to make a throw. He knew he wasn't going to have a million. It's hard to Kyler Murray the thing, right? Yeah, I know, Michael B. When I saw that, I was like, "There's no way out of anybody on this channel, the guy that loves everybody." But look, the truth is, that's what you want to see more of as far as his red zone ability. Now, here's what I'll do to go along with Michael B's point. No, there's not a new style shirt. I'm only sticking with this one now. I am going to start making some different shirts, and what I'm going to do, just to make what I'm going to do is to just make everybody feel better about PHL shirts and stuff. I am going to start making more designs of shirts. Some of you have asked for hoodies. So what I'll do is this, okay, just to make a merch announcement, and we will continue. So we can continue on the Jaden Daniels conversation. Would you guys be open to different types of shirts? Would you guys want more options for shirts? I've stuck with this one because the person that prints him is a PHL guy, and he did just have his first kiddo, so he's obviously doing and printing a bunch of shirts during this time. Type Y for yes, type in for no. You would like to see more different types of shirts, right? Should do a polo. Lemony Twang. Chris wants different kids shirts. So yeah, I'll produce some clothes. Victoria wants some more merch. I love the clap emoji. Close. Yes. I can see Victoria typing that out. Close. Tank tops, boots, bottle openers, visors. The truth is, okay, type Y for yes, type in for no. Would you want me to cut a Jaden Daniels red zone film study tomorrow? I started cutting one today, but I could do just red zone snaps tomorrow. Tight summer wear. Yes. Speedos. I love a good golden Speedo. It's my favorite. I love it. I'm telling you, once you rock Speedos during the summer, you can't go back. Brett wants a visor. But truth be told, Michael B's right. Jaden's been fine in the red zone. He's also missed some in the red zone as well. It is different because he is so turnover averse, for most of his career, that I feel that at some point he does need to let it rip a little bit more. But the truth is this: you have to take the good of Jaden Daniels just running around. There's a lot of good in that. Okay. Now, to Amakat's point, this is a reason why I have been very selective. You guys know that I'm not one of those people that just does things for money, right? Obviously, with Presley Collection, I like Anthony Starr Presley. Obviously, with Underdog Fantasy, I use Underdog Fantasy all the time. But I'm very selective with anything. I want it to be quality, right? And I want the shirts to be quality. And honestly, it is amazing how many people tell me, hey, I like the shirt. This is one of my favorite shirts. I wear it all the time. One of my good buddies ripped it outside doing yard work. And he was like, my goodness. And, it's crazy. Like how much people wear these shirts. And that's really cool. It's really, really cool. It's a high quality shirt. It's just great. But I am going to start, expanding. Obviously, we're doing hats and all that stuff. And yeah. So, what Michael B said about the red zone is very important. It's true. Jalen Hurts was like this as well. Now, it's amazing how good he is in the NFL right now. He is good. And it's kind of crazy. One of the two PHL fantasy leagues in the Patreon is I'm in like 7 or 8 different fantasy leagues. Jalen Hurts is my quarterback in 6 of them because he was like a 6th round quarterback. And I thought only Josh Allen would outscore him in fantasy this year. So I was like, I can get him in the 6th round. I'm going to do it in every one. Now, I know you shouldn't do that. That's bad fantasy strategy. You don't want to overexpose yourself because you're going to lose all these different leagues. But, man, Jalen is really throwing the football well. Now, if you get A.J. Brown, that obviously changes a lot. But he's just good. He's really good quarterback. And we beat him in our last matchup. So Danny says, I'm checked out on the QB conversation. He is QB1. I will support him as a QB1. The eye test has been pretty clear so far for me. The video doesn't matter. I just want wins regardless of how we get them. So I'll do this, Danny. I promise you. Okay. So what I did today, all right, I'll go ahead and share this. What I did today was I reached out to a lot of people. I opened up my phone book and talked to a lot of people that know more about quarterback play than I do. Even reached out to people that I've never even spoken to in my life, trying to get, more expert opinion on this quarterback situation. The amount of missed throws or throws that could be made compared to the running aspect. Also spoke to a few analytic people because obviously the EPA per play is really good. The QBR is really good. And teams that have good quarterbacks that put up good EPA per play and put up good QBR normally win a lot of games, right? So I'd be the first to tell you that Mississippi State featured a lot of different things that helped us win that game. And Jaden obviously played his worst game in terms of QBR of the 3. But there is something to be said about tucking and running that is very interesting to me, is that there's not going to be a turnover at the end of it, right? A lot of his tuck and runs end in him running out of bounds and him still gaining a lot of yards. And there is not a transaction that needs to happen for that to happen. And by transaction, I mean there's not a throw that needs to happen where there is a lot of different things that can happen on a throw, right? If you throw it, while you're cocking back in your motion, it could be tipped out of your hands for a fumble. When you throw it, it could be deflected at the line of scrimmage and popped up in the air for a pick. It could be dropped for an interception. It can be sailed for an interception. It could be just incomplete. And instead of the incompletion, you get the 7, 8, sometimes 20-yard run. Now, such as the miss to Jack Besh in the first half, you've got to make that throw because there was no running lane for him to go through. Now, something I will say is the more I looked at it and the more I read, I spent some time on some Mississippi State message boards. They were destroying Zach Arnett, the defensive coordinator for Mississippi State. And if you go back and look at the film study, there were so many times where I was like, why is their defensive coordinator doing this? Why are they not forcing Jaden Daniels to throw? What I would have done is rush 3, drop 8 principles. I would have rushed 3, drop 8, and put not only 1, but 2 QB spies. I would have rushed the heck out of him because you're not going to bring him down. You've got to make him throw from the pocket. And something else that we aren't, and I've been obviously given a lot of positives for Jaden Daniels, something that we aren't accounting for is when defenses are actually going to do that, where they're gonna mush rush us. They're gonna tell everyone, "Hey, stay in your lane." Give him 20,000 light years to throw the football, and let's see if he can actually make some throws. So we'll see. That's Chris. If you're in our Patreon Discord, you've gotten a lot of information, almost too much. I've kind of clogged everything. But I've shared a lot of the stuff that I reached out to get information on from people that are way smarter than me. When I say that, I really do mean it. Like this is really complex stuff, right? Because there are so many different ways you can look at it. I'll tell you this. There was an Anthony Richardson playing over the past few weeks that baffled me. I've reached out to 3 different people, and they gave me 3 completely different opinions on what he should have done. And what was interesting is Anthony Richardson gave his opinion in a press conference on what he should have done, and it was different than all 3 of them. So it goes to show you how different the game could be viewed, right? There's so many different things. And football is a sport where it is so nuanced that you can win with your quarterback doing a lot of different things. But, one thing that will lose you a game, turnovers. Turnovers will lose you a game. It will, right? And trust me, I've seen Anthony Richardson almost do this twice in the past couple of weeks. Let's go to Emil. I really appreciate Emil doing this for us. He's pulling up the target share for us. Tayshaun, 19 targets, 10 catches. Malik, 16 targets, 14 catches. Mason, 13 targets, 7 catches. BTJ, 10 targets, 9 catches. Dre, 9 targets, 8 catches. Interesting. And what's very interesting about the Dre number is that actually should be 8 targets, 8 catches, because Jaden throwing that ball to Dre on the final drive was really one of his worst decisions. He had Kayshawn wide open on the sideline, and it was actually a simpler throw. But I don't know why he decided to actually go vertical in that spot, but he did. Yeah, Dre's been amazingly efficient. That's what this tells me right here. And yeah. It's a good way to look at it. Here's something else that I found interesting. Josh Williams said something about playing professional basketball with Hakeem Olajuwon. Before he entered high school. Okay. I know he's from Houston. Hey, this is the most bizarre quote. And I hope Brody does a story on this or follows up. And I know Josh is from Houston. He played in games in China before his freshman year of high school with Hakeem Olajuwon and Clyde Drexler. So professional this what? Like I have no idea how this happened. I've been thinking about this during this whole live stream. I swear, on everything, even during the Slade Roy interview. I was like, what is this? Like, so Emil, you know him pretty well. I don't have Brody's. I met him a few times. I mean, I'll tell you, the last time Brody and I were together, something very bizarre happened. I'll tell you after the live stream. I'm very interested in this. How, like, first of all, being a professional, playing professional, but why would Clyde and Hakeem be playing in China? Like, that's just, I don't know. It's just kind of interesting. Besh has not caught every target. So obviously he had the catch for 5 yards versus Florida State, and he had the touchdown. When else was he targeted? I'm curious. Football is art. Exactly. Yeah, Seth, the hard part about that throw is that's actually the 4th and 3 to Neighbors wasn't like a really difficult read. It is kind of gutsy to throw that football when you only need 3, but they were impressed with, single high on like the opposite, near the opposite hash. So yeah, I do agree. Like you want to see Jaden obviously become a better like from the pocket kind of quarterback. But in that spot, that was actually a pretty good throw. But yeah. Okay. So yeah, those stats have to be wrong. So yeah, that ball, that's a good point. So it has to be 3 targets, 2 catches. I'm guessing the target numbers would be on LSU Sports, Chris, if you want to look it up real quick. So I just got some bad news, and I've been privy to some of this information. We won't be getting the Spanish LSU broadcast. Mario Jerez won't be getting them in Tiger Stadium this year. Now I don't know about you, but at LSU, Spanish is kind of a sore subject for me because I failed Spanish twice at LSU twice. And I love Spanish broadcasts. And I'm biased because Mario's a friend of mine. He's freaking incredible. He's freaking incredible. Well, Rico, I would trust your opinion on Jaden, but you've already been really wrong about another number 5 on the team. Ha 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 ha. Rico, that's one of the coldest takes. And I don't mind if anybody has a hot take. I have some hot takes that have been wrong or predictions. But Rico, God bless America. I mean, goodness. Not only does Jay Ward play, he's getting highlighted by the Senior Bowl. He's getting highlighted by the SEC. That probably earned him at least a 3rd or 4th round draft grade of some sort. Oh, you ate it? Okay. As long as you admit it. Trust me, I thought Tua was not going to be good this year, and Tua is balling right now. And I do an NFL show, and my DMs were shocked with people saying, God, dude, you told me Tua is trash. But hey, I will say this. It is kind of interesting that the Tyreek Hill thing is working out for both parties, because I do think Tyreek is like generationally good, but Mahomes is generationally good, and Andy Reid is generationally good. And the only other time, like in recent NFL or something like that has happened, has been the Stephon Diggs trade, where like he's better in Buffalo than he was in Minnesota, but the guy Minnesota drafted is better than the guy that he replaced, even though the guy that he replaced is also really freaking good. That's crazy. But my thing would be, and Will, thank you for that. My thing for me would be, what was the context? Because why were they playing professionally in China? Like, I can understand, like, with Hakeem and Clyde in China playing. How did that team come together? Obviously, Josh Williams is way younger than those guys. Why do those two players in particular, two of the best ever playing, feel the need that they need money at this point in their careers to go play in a professional? I have a lot of questions. I would love someone to do a story on it. I would love Josh Williams to come on the channel. Now, I don't know if he would have appreciated my Caleb Jackson tweet, but I really do think Caleb Jackson right now would be like, I think Caleb Jackson's really freaking good. I think he's like my number 3 rated commit for LSU right now for class of 2023. But that's more because, like, I think Caleb Jackson is, like, special. I know he broke his ankle. I don't care. Caleb Jackson's going to be freaking insane when he gets here. Freaking insanely good. I'm excited. That is true. You know, a little bit of a role change that obviously helped out. It worked. That's also true as well. JD better than Stetson Bennett last year, and look at how good Stetson Bennett is this year. Yeah, some truth to that. It just depends. Like, it depends on what you're saying he's better at. But I don't think anybody, I will say, I actually believe Stetson Bennett was going to be good. I have a bunch of tweets that shows that. I didn't think he'd be this good. I didn't think he'd be like my prediction for him winning the Heisman was more so he's going to be the best player on a really good team. But still. Excuse me. There you go. It's so interesting. Black Mike. Huh? I love it. I freaking love it. Black Mike. Let's go to this. Thoughts on Bedlam coming to an end? I mean, what Gundy said is just it. You know, I mean, what else can I say at this point? You know, it sucks, obviously. It just sucks. And this is just college football for you. Now, look, things change, right? College football is fine without Texas A&M. But we just got, Pitt and West Virginia back. You saw how good that was just a few weeks ago. College football is regional, okay? It's regional. That's all there is to it. And, you know, that game means a lot to a lot of people. Let's go to TJ here. Do you like BK's decision to kick out of the half this year? As in taking the ball first. I never like to receive first. The only time receiving first would make a lot of sense is if Joe Burrow is my quarterback. and I have Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, and I know they're going to give me 7 right out of the jump. But even then, I like having the football coming out of half. I do. I think it gives you an extra possession theoretically. It also allows you to manage the half a little bit better, manage the end of the first half a little bit better in a lot of ways. So, yeah. Yeah, Rick, and that's why Sam Pittman wants to play Texas every year. He's made that clear. He wants Texas on the schedule every year. It means a lot to people in Arkansas that game's played. Just because, that reminds them of their heyday. And, you have a lot of ties between Arkansas and Texas. There's a lot of Texas folk that go to Arkansas. So, yeah, I could see them being permanents. Yeah, Mike, I'm actually glad it's done because one very underrated story in the grand scheme of LSU football is the 2007 team. That first half against Tulane, when they had Matt Forte, was nerve-wracking. They were winning 9-7 at half. Cole David kicked a field goal, and it gave us a 10-9 lead. At halftime versus Tulane, a team this LSU team that was vying for a national championship. I still have bitter memories from that game. Now, we ended up blowing them out in the second half. The uniforms are so cool that game, too. But, man, Also, speaking of uniforms, Emil, I know you agree with this as well. Nobody could touch the Tulane Green Wave uniform. Are you kidding me? That aesthetic is something else. That light blue and green, that mint look. It is so sexy. It's neurotic. Gets the people going. Okay? So, yeah. That was pretty cool, Doug. Oh, okay. That's such a random question. There you go, Jeff. When everybody's still there as well, it's another thing. That's when the crowd is going to be the most insane. It's a good point. Now, if it's a close game, everybody will stay. But, I know this always starts a firestorm, but, I get this message a lot. I don't feel like I'm the best to answer this question. Someone did ask me about this today. I don't have an answer for post-game traffic. I just don't. I wish I did. I don't. So for when I went to games, when I was at school, I lived on campus, so I could just walk back. And I also was in the media, so I would be leaving so much later than everybody else. So it was kind of hard. It's kind of hard for me to comment on post-game traffic. But it's just never, there's nothing they could do about it, right? There's just nothing. So, I still get messages about it. I can't fix that. I don't have tips on any of it. I really don't. Stone cold. LaTeX, I do like LaTeX uniforms. Tulane's colors are hideous. Tulane should come back to the SEC. So here's someone that lives in Baton Rouge. And knows the area probably as well as anybody. And it's especially with campus, a lot of campuses one way, like one lane streets, and there's 250,000. What is it? There's like 200,000 people that could sometimes be on campus. It's impossible. Hotels don't make money? Well, there you go. There you go. There's a convo. I fully agree with this. As someone who doesn't have a car, and the only reason I want a car is just so I can, obviously get around. But I'm telling you, when I was in London and Paris and seeing how well their public transportation systems worked, I was like, good God, life is a lot easier when that is the case. And I was like, dang, this is unbelievable. Like, I was like, I didn't think that could be something because, I lived in DC and the public transportation system is fine. But it wasn't that. Like, the London buses were freaking insane. But yeah, that's how you'd have to fix it. But that wouldn't that still wouldn't be solved. Yeah, when Doug goes somewhere, they travel in numbers, right? So at the PHL meetup, Doug's crew, what were y'all? Y'all were 15 deep. I was like, goodness gracious. Great balls of fire here. Goodness. But yeah, it's you got a Camry? I'll take it. I'll take anything. That would be the super chat of the century. Yeah, I got a car. Oh man. Well, yeah, not all right. Does it have 4 wheels? I would take it, even if there was a body in the back. I'm like, hey, I've seen Dexter enough. I know which lagoon to go in. You can call me the Bay Harbor Butcher all you want, baby. I know where to put the bodies. I love it. There we go. Sibley. Thank you for your generosity. I appreciate it. Will the Tigers have a letdown this weekend? So I was actually going to save that for Thursday, but I would love to talk about that now. New Mexico's horrible. They're a horrible team. This year just happened to be, and I've really done a whole lot of research on them. But Emil pointed out earlier they are amongst the bottom. Yeah, man. I don't know why this is the case, but LSU got very lucky that these cupcake games have been cupcake games, and this team is bad. So this would be, if it were to happen, this would be the most colossal upset ever. You got a Lambo? Okay. Well, normal guy, feel free to super chat. Just drop a $5 one at least. But yeah, a letdown, yeah, there could be a situation where they're just not sharp. One thing I would like to see, John Sibley, that I think would help LSU out is, and this is going to come off really wrong, and that's fine, but sometimes you have to say things that are just true, right? There are some times where you got to criticize some people and things that everybody loves, okay? Thank you so much, Mike. I really appreciate it. Your shirt is currently in transit. There you go. And Mike, you get to pick the next topic. Feel free. But to finish up on this right here, Southern didn't do us any favors. Now, did we play well? Yes. Did we get the first win? Yes. Was it a big game in terms of Baton Rouge history? Yes. If you have any ties to Baton Rouge, you were very happy that the game and the bands and everything happened. Yes. But in terms of football, that was not good for LSU because Southern went out there and lost the game, right? Fumbled kickoff return, fumbled mesh point, stared down pick six off a deflection. You should never lose a game 38-0 by the first quarter if you're a college football team. And Southern, the moment was just so big for them, right? There was so much being made. And what I think happened was the week before they beat somebody 86-0. So part of why I think LSU was clunky versus Mississippi State is, number one, we are a very flawed team. But number two, while we were able to rest up, last week, we didn't really get a look, right? It was so you would kind of sort of hope, John Sibley, that New Mexico does push them a little bit, right? So, Michael, you get to pick the next topic. So whatever you want to talk about, Mike, I'm happy to talk about it. So I'm going to give you, because of Mike's generosity, I'm going to give you a little preview of the Jaden film study that I'm going to drop tomorrow. Okay. So with our patrons, I've shared some stats and they already have an idea. So if you're interested, join patreon.com/LSU football. You get our chat room, you get some bonus stuff, and you get to talk to me, obviously, one-on-one. And it's very fun, honestly. And it's not just me. It's Chris, Emil, Michael B., Danny. It's great. But, what I'll say about tomorrow's film study is something that we tend to think of football that is very wrong. Okay. And it took me until this year to fully realize this. Okay. And I'll go in and share it with you now. Quarterbacks don't throw over the middle. It's a myth. They don't throw over the middle. Now, some can, but most don't. I've looked at a lot of passing charts at both the collegiate and NFL level. And in our last film study versus Mississippi State, you can recall a Justin Herbert versus Patrick Mahomes game last week, where I showed the passing chart of these two cyborg quarterbacks. They're both 6'3". They both have big arms. They can throw it to any portion of the field. They have enough zip to fit the football in tight windows over the middle. And we actually watched this together. The clip wasn't on the screen, but it took such an immaculate throw for Herbert to even throw a football over the middle with broken ribs later in the game. You don't throw over the middle that much. And in college football, you really don't throw over the middle because the quarterbacks just aren't good enough. They're just not. And now that I've done Power Hour SEC, and I have spent more time looking at some of the other quarterbacks, they suck throwing over the middle. They suck. It's hard. It's hard. It's really, really, really hard to do this. I know I'm not telling you guys anything you don't know already. But as much as I've looked at this stuff today, it's hard. So when you see Jaden Daniels miss a throw over the middle, and he's done that, folks, this ain't easy. He's not the only one that can't really see the middle of the field all that well, right? Tennessee only throws to the right side of the field. They only do it. They've done this the whole Hendon Hooker era. It's throws to the right. Stop it. Nobody can. Georgia did last year, but they have freaking they were Georgia, right? Go try it. It's a myth. It's a myth. Now, some people can. Joe can, but he's Joe. Mac Jones can. He's Mac Jones. In college, it's a myth. It's a total myth. Car fun. No, Grizz, that's good. I just got a new whip today. Look at you. Send me some photos, please. Tell the wife and the fam I said hello. I saw that you guys had fun at the rave or the festival. That's obviously good. Good to see you guys. And appreciate you. Come join the club. I do need to join the car club. Got a few other things to pay for first. Jared, thank you so much for the super chat. I really do appreciate it. So Mike wants to talk targeting. Yeah, so he does. I have noticed that a bit. And I'll go look at it again. Obviously, with my film studies, I do spend more time on the offense. But yeah, I can see that. I can. Who was the last away cupcake for LSU? Emily at Auburn next week. All right, Mike, I appreciate it. I think I'm in a mill. The white, purple, white. You like that combo? So, I don't know. When is that? When was the last time? I'm very curious about this. They went to Vanderbilt in 2019. Kidding. Obviously, they're Power 5. Okay. I'm dying to know this. I really am. Okay. I want to know this. Okay. Has anyone figured it out yet? 11-1 in 2023. What's up, Grant? So 07 at Tulane. Okay, but was that a true road game or a neutral site? Because Tulane plays at Ullman, correct? So did they consider that a home game for Tulane? Yeah, Jared, I think they would consider West Virginia a Power 5 here. Yeah, so I'm interested more in the Group of 5 thing. Yeah, Washington is not a cupcake. They're a good program. Then not so much. Okay. So Tulane played their home games. Wait, let me look at this. So Alabama's really going to USF? That's wild. Oh, okay. So Ullman opened in 2014. That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. So 07. Well, we play. It's funny. It's funny. I mentioned that game earlier in the stream. That was nerve-wracking. Very, very, very nerve-wracking. I'm glad we won. Yeah, but that was a Power 5. So, and also, as far as like Tulane is concerned, yeah, it's a road game, but it's not like what Bama's doing here, going to USF. I give Bama a lot of credit for doing that because they could have been like, we're too good for this. Why are we going to USF? That's pretty cool. And that's also good for USF. I know that they're going to get slaughtered, but the fact that they said, look, we'll schedule a home and home. I love that. Yeah, that was a good win, man. That's one of my favorite LSU games. That J. Russ throw to win it, man. Are you freaking kidding me? That was wild. That throw still defies the laws of physics. Albert Einstein came out of his grave and said, what the F was that? That throw by Jamarcus, you can hear that thing whistling in Australia. That was one of the craziest throws I will ever see any LSU Tiger make. That bad boy was humming. That thing would have pierced a spaceship. I swear. I still don't get it. I still don't. So, like, Ryan Mallett, Jared Lorenzen, but he's left-handed, so it's a little bit different. There's maybe a few other SEC quarterbacks that can make that throw. Obviously, like Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers could, but I mean, goodness. You know who else had some pretty good highlight throws that's like kind of strange and random? Danny Etling had some ridiculously accurate throws. He had a 1-2 Russell Gage in the second quarter of the Auburn comeback, and then he also had one to Russell Gage in the end zone versus Texas A&M that were freaking dimes. Freaking dizzles. 2 games at Bama and 1 at USF. That's interesting. All right, Michael B. We'll see you. Yeah. Why is this doing this? Let's see here. I'll talk a little bit about this. Yes and no. So, TJ, I got word that Anthony Bradford wasn't going to be healthy and ready to go, right? Heard that I think like 2 or 3 days before the game. All right, and it was someone that's really in the know. Okay, so someone that knows a lot of people at LSU. All right. And I'll leave it at that. Okay. Now, two or three not good as one. I'm ready for that Kenny. I'm ready for that Kenny Chesney. Huh? Your Kenny Chesney super chats. I've never quite understood it, but here we are. TJ, I'm happy they did it. Sometimes in life, you just can't overthink it, and you just got to play the most talented guy. And, here's what I'll do. TJ, I'm going to let you decide this, TJ, since you brought it up. I recorded a podcast about Emery Jones today, and I'm debating whether or not I want to release it. Okay, he followed me on Instagram yesterday, which was kind of cool. I don't know why, but he did. Right, I posted a photo, I think, of him and Will. I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, he probably has no idea that I'm a YouTuber or whatever. But he's gotten one of my highest grades I've ever given out to like a prospect. So I normally, if I grade you that highly and I think that highly of you, I think you're ready to play year one. And lo and behold, he's our answer at right tackle, at least for now. He's good. And it's a leap of faith. A lot of coaches don't like playing true freshmen at all, really. But, that was the right decision. That was the right decision. Howard, I'll say this. Next time Jay Hill's on, I'll let him talk more about that. There were successful teams. Okay, so it's not as if there was like a big issue with them. Okay. There wasn't an issue. We won a lot of games. Some of it is less. Some of it was just unluckiness versus Alabama in close games. Some of it's that. But what I will tell you is if 2007 LSU and 2012 LSU were to play in a neutral field, I don't know who would be favored between those two rosters, because 2012 LSU would have been really special if Tyran would have played. Obviously, that was honestly, that pretty much was a lot of it. But the Alabama game was close. Yeldon made a play. And, Jalen Mills was a true freshman. We weren't the same team without Tyran. So, yeah. And also, so that first Met team, the 2012 team, what we tend to forget is Tyran was the best offensive, defensive, and special team player on the 2011 team. And, up to that point, he was the best player in the modern era of LSU football. The post-2003 era. He was the best. So when you lose that and you lose that leader, it obviously changes a lot. I think that's some of it. I also think some of it as well is kind of what the Bengals are going through right now with Zach Taylor. Okay. When you almost win something, or sometimes if you win it all, you think to yourself, okay, we were this close to doing something really, really, really special. I don't need to change things up. Okay. Well, we needed to change some things up, right? Our offense still was a little prehistoric. The 2012 team missed some key pieces on defense. Let's be really honest. But still, that team, they'll tell you they should have accomplished more. And the 2013 team was, essentially the same thing. You mix in there a Georgia shootout loss. There was a lot of these tough, brutal victories during those years. Okay. But honestly, a lot of it, I put it on Les. I really do. Like Walter White at bogeys. Matt loved the bars, I'll tell you that. Oh man. That'll be discussed until the end of eternity. I'll also tell you this, Semper. And TJ, I'll let you decide if you want me to release the Emery Jones podcast. I'll do it in the morning. Why not? I don't know. I'm thinking about it because I don't want to overhype somebody. I've already hyped up Emery Jones so much to where, like, before the season, I was telling you how transcendent and really freaking good that kid was going to be. And as you know, I take those evaluations pretty seriously. But man, dude, he's good. I'll share this as well, Semper, about the 2011 team. That's the saddest LSU team of all time. The saddest thing. I know this just, anecdotally through other people. Some of it is just people I know. I know a lot of people on that team, right? All of it still hurts. And the fact that they were able to get that moment together in Tiger Stadium this past weekend was pretty big. There's still a lot of emotional trauma from that night that team has to deal with. And it'll never go away. It'll never go away. And that's what's crappy about that one game. That one game was just so bad. It just freaking tore a lot of us to shreds inside. We were, it just was a lot. And, everybody's got that question. Why didn't Lee play? Why wasn't the offense better? Couldn't cross midfield. They didn't do anything on offense. They never threw to Morris Claiborne's side of the field. There was a lot of things that they did to make sure that we weren't going to do anything. And defensively, they did nothing. I did so much media stuff that week. The Bama players were telling me that we're not going to change anything. We're just going to not let them beat us. And I remember I interviewed Jim McElwain, the OC, who of course has had an adventurous career up to this point since then. But he said, "Hey, we're not gonna reinvent the wheel." They all told me that. Hey, we're just gonna go in there and just be us. And all Nick did was simplify everything because they knew Les wasn't going to do anything. So I promise you, they knew going into it. Hey, we're getting another chance. We're not going to beat ourselves this time. And there's just so much about that. Like the 2011 team, every year that anytime they walk in a Tiger Stadium, they'll see the national championship banners. Their name should be up there. They were better than a lot of those national championship winning teams. 3 of them, honestly. But LSU's caught. I'll say this as LSU fans, we've caught more breaks than non-breaks when it comes to titles. But that one really stung. And you have these questions. And I still get asked about the bar fight stuff, or not the bar fight, but the locker room fight stuff. And I just, what does it matter at this point now? and this is also true as well. I don't think I don't think any of us handled it the best. I think a lot of the players would like to obviously play the game differently, but a lot of people were thrown under the bus behind the scenes. A lot of people. Okay. And it's honestly was sad. I've never seen anything quite like that. I haven't. But I go back to this, right? I was on the field for the 2010 Tennessee game, okay? And what was very interesting was the players when, when everyone thought the game was over and the T-Bob snap happened, I just remember being seeing the players going, "What the F is happening?" There was already some tension as far as do we know what we're doing? Are we being spearheaded in the right direction? So some of that was there, but honestly, everybody loved Les. It was kind of hard to, and obviously, there's more to him, and that met the eye at the time. But most the players loved playing for him. So it's very interesting. It's very interesting how that team is really perceived now. But yes, they would have beaten Oklahoma State. I don't care what any Oklahoma State fan will say. LSU would have matched up so well for them. With them, they would have slaughtered them. They would have slaughtered Oklahoma State. But that's not here nor there. Just shoot me an email, man. Or shoot me a Twitter DM or Instagram DM at Power Hour LSU or powerhourlsu@gmail.com. But yeah, the 2011 LSU team will always be the saddest LSU team of all time because they are the second best LSU team of all time. They are the best team to never win the national championship. Objectively speaking, go look at the teams that they played and how badly they beat all of them. Two of them won BCS bowls. They beat everybody by 10 points or more. I mean, they were so good and they had no offense. They had two different quarterbacks. Neither of them threw for 250 yards or more in any game. They had four different running backs lead them in rushing. They had four different receivers lead them in receiving yards. They were a true team, right? If you want to define team, football, if you have a great quarterback like Cam, he could single-handedly get you to where you need it to go. The true definition of a team is you can win in many different ways, and that team won in every way imaginable, right? And that's why I love that team so much. They were a true team, and I don't think we'll ever see a team like that again. And I know a lot of people say, well, 2019 Georgia, no. 2019 Georgia averaged 6.2 yards per play. They were good offensively. That will never happen again. Never. Never. But, Les got to keep his job because, well, you had Jeremy Hill, you had Odell Beckham, you had Jarvis Landry, you had Dante Jackson, you had Leonard Fournette, you had Darius Geis, you had Duke Riley, you had Jamal Adams, you had all these people after that slugged their way through these 8, 9, 10, 11 win seasons. Okay. So, yeah, I know it's easy to throw Les under the bus, but he was not a great coach, right? He just wasn't. Sing a Kenny Chesney song? Man, I've been so out of the country loop. The only country artist I rock with is Luke Combs because he was the only one to pick us on game day. Long neck, ice cold beer. That's still. That's such a visual thing. Long neck, ice cold beer. All right, so in the next 5 minutes, I'll answer as many questions as I possibly can. But if you super chat, we'll keep this party moving along. Drop some recruiting nuggets in the PHL Patreon. So please go join if you haven't already. Just drop one in the Discord. Obviously, there you go. It's kind of interesting. What's up, Shin Chan? T-Mod spread it perfectly. All Les had to do was keep his hands off the offensive. Les couldn't do that. There's no song I love better right now than Long Neck Ice Cold Beer Never Broke My Heart. Diamond rings and football teams. I'll sing it. I'll sing it right now. Thank you for your generosity. We're gonna hang out. What would be let me think. Sit right here and have another. Is that him? Sit right here and have another beer in Mexico. I don't know why he says. The Boys of Fall. Oh yeah, no shirt, no shoes, no shirt, no problem. And then there's Pirate Flag and Howling Girl, or whatever that one is. Let's see. I'll sing some Kenny Chesney for a $50 super chat. Wait, is that Kenny Chesney? She thinks my tractor's sexy. Oh man, Jacob's like, I gotta go after the Kenny Chesney serenade. Thank you so much, Stuart. 3 not good as one. I really appreciate you. Yeah, TJ, I'll talk about the Bengals. Why not? So 2 or 3 not good as one. Hopefully that was good enough. I've already probably lost like 10 viewers forever for that, but you know, got a wedding to pay for. I love it. TJ, let's have an honest discussion about the Bengals. Yes, because they don't have a good coach. Zach Taylor is very predictive in his play calling. I think the Bengals should have panicked when a Super Bowl winning head coach, okay, or a Super Bowl head coach, they didn't actually win, of course. But even if Joe found a way to win, okay, the fact that a coach thought that on 3rd and 1 with Aaron freaking Donald, the best defensive tackle who has ever played this game, the fact that a coach who has Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Joe freaking Mixon on the team decided, hey, on this 3rd and 1, we want Samaje Perine to decide the Super Bowl for us. On a run up the middle. Okay? We're not talking about LaDainian Tomlinson. We're not talking about Thurman Thomas. We're not talking about Red Grange. Samaje Perine. By the way, they tried the same play earlier and I got stuffed too. And Zach Taylor was like, okay, here's what I need to do. My whole career, everybody on this team who has bled, sweat, and teared their way to get to this point in their career. The Bengals fans who have suffered decades of awfulness with everything on the line. After an incredible, freaking who all was there? Everybody at the game. LeBron was there. Dr. Dre was there. Everybody and their moms watching this game. And you thought that Samaje Perine is the person that we should give a high leverage, high pressure situation carry to in this spot. By the way, Joe he had a rough half overall, but he had been driving up and down. And then second half some. Okay? The fact that didn't raise red flags for the Bengals let me know everything that they knew. They look static. Last year, they still decided to run the football so daggone much. They tried to fix the offensive line. It's still not where it needs to be. And let's be honest here, TJ, Joe's not playing well. He's not. He's got to play better. But I think that is not on the top 2 things. The offensive line is still bad, and the coach is still really bad. Zach is in over his head, as are a lot of these offensive wonder kid coaches. Nathaniel Hackett, whoever you want to mention. Yeah, 2 or 3 not good as one. I won't comment too much on that one. But I do have morals. And I'll let people smarter than me touch that topic. But that is really bad. Okay. And I don't really have any other opinions on that. That's really bad. Okay. I'm not smart enough to understand how all the details of that. I'm not really. I read a few things on it, but yeah, that is pretty bad. I'm still kind of shocked by that story. I'll put it at that, right? But yeah, you I don't even know. I honestly don't even know where to start, because for me to spend time on that, I would need to know every last little detail about that. But let me just say this: it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. The NFL for you, great quarterbacks will not play well for consecutive games. It's true. I'll tell you who is playing freaking well right now. Lamar freaking Jackson. Dear Lord. God bless. That dude is freaking insane. Man. I've run out of words to describe that guy. He is a wizard. Like, he just doesn't make sense how good he is. And he's only his contract year, Lamar too. He's good, man. He's good. Yeah, I mean, and the thing about Lamar is, like, he's a star. He is a supernova. So, you know you're going to sign him eventually. Mm. It's crazy. Man, they did. They did. And I mean, that was just insanely good deal for the Chiefs. And Patrick's better than all of them. Now, it does help he's got the best play caller, but he's better than all of them. And I'm a Burrow guy. Mm. Wait, what? So I'm looking now at All right. Let me give you some no, let me give you some game here, okay? There's a pretty viral story. 2 or 3 not good as one. There he is, the Master Blaster. As we finish out the super chat. So Aaron Judge hit his 60th home run tonight. Okay. Which is pretty big. You know, if he had 60, it's pretty elite. Okay. So the thing is, you're more than likely, whoever you are, you're not going to be in this scenario. Okay. But who knows? You know, maybe Walker Howard, scores a game winning touchdown and he's tying Joe Burrow's touchdown amount, or Jaden Daniels running for 2,000 yards or whatever it may be. And he punched the ball into the end zone. That ball is worth a lot of money. If he's setting a record, if he is a legend, if he's a Heisman Trophy winner. Now, if you are that big of a fan and you don't want money for the item, then give it away. But these kids tonight caught this Aaron Judge home run ball that I'm seeing on Twitter. And it was his 60th home run. Okay. Now, just depending on how you view home runs and records and steroids and all of that, I'm guessing 61 is going to be the big one, right? Because that's a Roger Maris hit, right? That was 61. And Maris is a Yankee as well. So the kids walked away with a signed bat, and his friends all got signed baseballs from Aaron Judge. Stupid. That is downright stupid. If you ever catch anything of that magnitude, you, whoever you are, need to understand how much that item actually is worth, right? Like Derek Jeter's 3,000th hit was a home run. That ball is worth no less than $250,000. No less, especially now. So that is very interesting. There, if you caught the ball, 60th one. Oh yeah, jerseys, bats, balls, VIP club, meet and greet. Oh yeah, Tony, you missed a great show. But if you're a big fan of Aaron Judge, yeah, did the Yankees come back and win after that? That's kind of wild. Let me see. I don't even care about baseball. Oh, they did come back. They scored 5 in the bottom of the ninth to win it. Craziness. Don't worry. I'll end it soon so you can actually hear someone who knows about football. Our guy, Slade Roy. I was randomly thinking about Kenny Hilliard earlier today. And I'm like, God, I would do anything to have Kenny Hilliard in this Brian Kelly offense because we need a big back. I kind of miss having one bruiser, at least one.
What's the first thing?
It was a 60th. So I guess 61 would tie Marist. LSU 49 or 52. New Mexico State 16. Well, all right. Well, I appreciate everybody. Thank you so much for making PHL special. Thanks to all our top super chats. 2 or 3 is not as good as 1. John W. Butler, Michael B. Appreciate all you cool cats and kittens. Thanks again to Slade Roy. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. It is Power Hour LSU. Bam! And tonight we are doing tacos. Taco Tuesday. I hadn't done that in a while. Let's go. Let's go.